I just got out of a wood-fired hot tub, so I'm kind of wet and it's kind of warm, but we just did our first glamping camping trip. I've never been glamping before. We came to Field Trip Traveler's Rest, a new glamping campground in South Carolina. We are normally tent campers. As you've seen, we've gone to a lot of state parks and hip camps, and this is the first time that we've been to a glamping campground and had a lot of cool things that we've never done before, including the wood-fired hot tub and a cold plunge. So we'll talk about all that today, but I came up with 11 things that I really liked about this campground. So especially if you're from this area, this would be a really cool place to check out. So let's do a quick tour of the A-frame area where we are staying and some of the other areas around this campground. So this has A-frames and geodomes and canvas tents. So I'm going to show you real quick some of the A-frames. Over here is number 23, 22. Right behind me is where you park your car and you're going to walk up this little path. It's pretty simple, and they give you carts that you can use to walk up your path and bring all of your stuff to your A-frame. So they've got nice mulch down. It's a little bit wet, but that's not a big deal. So you're just going to walk up here, and then we are at cabin 21. And one of the cool things about this is that it has air conditioning and even has some little towels in there. And on one side you have a fire pit, and then there's wood, which we purchased from the camp store. And here's the fire pit. And then over here on the other side there is a wood-fired hot tub. It is not fired up right now, but the water is very warm. If you walk on this other little path behind our cabin, you see another A-frame cabin up here. And then you have the geodomes, which are also really cool. So there's one over here, and there looks to be 5 of them on this side. So as you walk through, as you can see, they're all fairly private on their own platform too. These are pretty cool. But these geodomes are cool. I've always wanted to stay in one. I never have. So maybe we'll have to come back sometime and we'll stay in them. As you can see on one side, it has an opening. Maybe you can close it from the inside, I would assume. At night, you have the fire pit, you have the geodome, and there's a couple of them up there. So they're fairly far apart, and the store is right down this hill, so everything is within an easy walking distance. It's not very far. And this is really cool. They have a sauna right here and a cold plunge right in the middle, and another wood-fired hot tub on the other end. So to use, it looks like the hot tub and the sauna, you just click a QR code and you sign up for a time. It's not too busy right now, but it looks like the cold plunge, you can just use it because you're probably not going to use it very long when it's empty. So it's pretty deep. I guess you just sit in there real quick. We'll definitely do that in a little bit. So here's the top from the hot tub and the cold plunge. Over there they've got some canvas tents and a game area. This is kind of the main lodge area where they have a little shop and you can buy some stuff. And then over there are the A-frames, and then up there are the geodomes. There's the parking lot. So everything is very walkable, and the bathrooms are on the other side of this yellow building. All right, I wrote down 11 things that I really liked about this campground. So I'm gonna go through them for you and just hopefully give you some more information about this campground. I didn't see much on YouTube about it, so let's talk about them. The first thing is there were a lot of options to stay. We stayed in this A-frame, and it had air conditioning, and it had one bed in the middle. It was for 2 people, but it came with towels and little coffee mugs. So the cool thing about glamping is you don't have to bring much. We only brought basically some clothes and a little bit of food. And then they also have geodomes up on the hill. Like I showed you, those are really cool. And they're like the round curve things, and you can stay in those. I'm not sure how many people can be in those. They have canvas tents, and there were some people over there. And they had some other little, like, bigger canvas tents, I guess. I don't know what everything is called. Maybe I'll look it up. But I like the A-frame area because these ones are a little bit more spread out, and it was very quiet. We were the only people in an A-frame, I think, this weekend, and we chose the A-frame with the hot tub. So having the hot tub was pretty cool, even though it was supposed to be really warm this weekend. It's in the shade, so in the night and in the morning it really wasn't a big deal, and using the wood fire on it was pretty cool. You just light the fire and it would heat up, and you could feel the cold water on the bottom going in and then the hot water coming out, so it's making some sort of siphon through. It was really cool. So I think that's kind of worth it. It's definitely going to cost more money to get this one, but we were like, well, if we're trying something new, let's just go all in. And so that was really cool. The A-frame area is pretty spaced out and it's a little bit quieter. On the other end, you can hear all the kids. It's actually a family that we know. We didn't know they're going to be here, so that was pretty fun. So there's lots of different options here, different price ranges. I mean, you're going to pay more than like a park that doesn't have anything, but you're getting a lot more amenities, and they have air conditioning. And so air conditioning was a huge plus. Number 2 was the camp store. The camp store, I believe, was open all night. You just go in there, and if you needed to pick up some things, then you can get it, and they have a little kiosk where you pay for it. It was really simple. It just uses a card. They had firewood. It was $5 for a bucket. The hot tub we didn't have to pay firewood for, according to the sign, but we bought some to have a fire in the fire pit. That worked out, and the wood was okay. It burned. You know, I've been to a lot of places where the wood is terrible, and it was big pieces of wood, and it wasn't too wet, so it lit up. That wasn't a big deal, at least for the time we came. So, you know, having good firewood's always nice. But in the store, they had some s'mores stuff. They had drinks, chips, sandwiches, a lot of different things, even some camping gear if you might need. And number 3 on my list, which I know is important to a lot of people, is the bathrooms were really clean. And they're really big. They had 3 showers in there. The bathrooms were open all night long. They're just on the back side of the lodge area, which is about maybe a minute walk from here, and we're on the farthest A-frame away, and you're not gonna walk more than maybe a minute and a half if you walk slow. So everything is really within walking distance, so that's nice. It didn't feel like it was hard to walk even back to the car. When you were bringing your stuff to the cabin, they have little carts that you can put all your stuff in, bring it up, unload, and take the cart back. So that was really handy, but everything's walkable. Nothing was doesn't feel like it's too far away. There's a slight little hill to walk up to where we are, but it's not bad at all. So number 4 was kind of the main amenities, and they're behind the lodge. There's a wood-fired hot tub that's a larger one. So we have a small 2-person one at our campsite, but they have a large one. I don't know how many people it hold. And there's a cold plunge, that was for 1 person, and a sauna. And all of those were pretty easy to use this weekend because there weren't a lot of people here, and so people were kind of just using them. But they were getting used, so that was nice. It also has a place where a little QR code where you can sign up to use it. And we actually did do that for the sauna just to see, and it was super simple. But I think most people, especially this weekend, were just using it when there was nobody up there. The cold plunge was a lot of fun. My oldest did it. He said it was very cold. I put my hands in. It was definitely cold. I've been cold enough in my life. I was like, I don't really want to do this. But I did do the hot tub at our cabin. We did not do the main hot tub, but there were people using it, so it's definitely used. Number 5 on my list is that there were not a lot of bugs here. So I don't even have bug spray on, and the ground's pretty wet, no mosquitoes. That's a huge plus. I'm sure some people get more mosquitoes than I do, but we haven't dealt with too many bugs. You know, there was a bat that we found on the ground. That was kind of cool, actually. At least right now, and with all the rain we've had, there is no mosquitoes, so that was really cool. And number 6 is that it's close to Travelers Rest and a lot of cool areas around here. So I do live in this area, and I didn't even know this place was here till recently, and I guess they opened about a year ago. But one of the benefits of where this is located is that Travelers Rest is about 15 minutes away. So if you want to go get breakfast there, there's a great creperie that's really good. If you want to get some pizza, there's Sidewall Pizza. If you just want coffee, there's Bridge Street Coffee. All those places I really like. So I would recommend, if you can get a chance and you have to go downtown, you want to eat and do that kind of stuff. If you're staying in a place like this, it might just be kind of a home base. You can also take an hour trip, go over to Lake Jocassee. Absolutely beautiful place to go swimming. You're not far from Asheville. You can go get supper at Chicora Alley in Travelers Rest and get our enchiladas. That's one of my favorite things. So one of the nice things about the location is it feels kind of secluded. You can tell there's people around here. As we were driving up here, it was easy to find, but there was no sign on the highway. But once you drove, then you're able to find it, and there's nice parking in the middle. But you're close to everything, so if you're just gonna use it as a place to stay and go explore the area, it's great for that. There's a lot of cool places around here that are worth visiting. Number 7 is that there is cell phone coverage out here, and there is Wi-Fi at the lodge. So if you're gonna come out here and you need to do some work, I know a lot of people work on their trips now, there is Wi-Fi that worked. It didn't really reach our cabin, at least on my phone that I could get it to. Wasn't a big deal, but there is cell phone. I had pretty good cell phone coverage out here. But there's a nice air conditioning area at the lodge, and you could work there and hang out. That's where the store is. We also picked up some marshmallow stuff last night when we were cooking some marshmallows. So internet and cell phone coverage works well out here. Number 8 is check in and check out. Check in was about 4 o'clock, but our email said 3:30, and because we only live 20 minutes away or whatever, we came about 4 o'clock. But that was really easy. You actually just check in and go straight to your cabin, geodome, or canvas tent. And then checkout is 11 o'clock, and you just text them and say you're leaving. And so that all seems very easy, and it's definitely a lot easier than some places I've been. But 4 o'clock to 11 o'clock seems fair. That's a good time, and everything was clean when we got into the A-frame. So there's a little bit of time in there to clean. Even this morning, there's been people already around emptying some of the places where people have left and cleaning. So everything around here was really clean. The bathrooms were really clean, the store was really clean, the breakfast area was really clean, and the cabin was very clean, but the smoke is everywhere. There is a giant porch out back, and there were people there last night cooking using the black stone that they had, just using that to cook. That's really cool. It looks like you could have some like parties out there. It has really nice lights over it. At night it looked really cool. Little meeting area right in the middle of the campground, and it kind of splits the campground into two. See if I can get the smoke not in our faces. So the spot we stayed in was A-frame number 21. It had one bed in the middle. It held 2 people. My son and I stayed. It was fine for us. It's definitely not a lot of room. They have another cot you can put in there, and then that gives you 2 beds, so that would work perfect. We didn't use the cot this time. I didn't see him till we got here. But it had air conditioning, it had a heater inside, it had a little bit of like an electric coffee mug and a percolator, and some mugs and towels. And the benefit of this one, which is why we chose it, like I said, is it had the wood-fired hot tub. And we used that last night, and we used it this morning. And it was really simple to use. You would just put a little bit of fire in the back, and it would, I guess, circulate the water a little bit. You could feel the cold air going in, or cold water coming in and the hot water coming out. We do a lot of hot tent camping, so it basically had the same idea of just lighting a hot tent stove. So it was pretty simple, and they gave a torch to light it, which made it really easy. We did bring fat wood, which is an easy way to light a fire, but this was a really cool spot. It's up at the top of the hill, so it's definitely more private, I feel like. The fire right here is all the way up here. You can't really see much down there. There is a good amount of trees. I don't know if the hurricane came before or after they were open last summer, but it looks pretty good. Still a lot of trees up. Doesn't look like it destroyed too much, thankfully, around here, or they've done a very good job of cleaning it up. You can tell they've put a lot of work into this campground to make it very nice. I'm sure they're always thinking of more ideas, but everything seems to be running well, and I would do it again. Would I get the one with the hot tub? I think because it was my first time, it was worth it. Kind of liked having the private hot tub, to be honest. It kind of gave us a little bit more to do at our A-frame because it was just the 2 of us. You know, if I had maybe both my kids, the whole family would go wander around more. And that brings me to number 10. There is a kids area. There's a little playground. There's a little spot where they can shoot slingshots at some bottles that are hanging. That was pretty cool. The kids had fun doing that too. There was definitely kids doing the cold plunge. They liked that, and I'm sure the hot tub would be really popular too. You can control how hot and cold it gets just by putting in how much wood you want. And it cooled off pretty quickly. Number 11, I'm just gonna throw in there, it was a very quiet weekend. I don't know how full it normally gets. It definitely didn't feel full this weekend. There was a time yesterday when everybody left for supper, and there was just us and one other family out here. And to be honest, that was kind of nice. I'm so used to state parks where they're just full of people and loud and yelling all night long. But we didn't have any issues of anybody being loud. You know, there's people talking and kids playing, but that's perfectly normal and what you want at a campground. But because we're on this side, all the way up here, we were kind of in a very quiet area. Even if there was someone in these other A-frames, I don't think we would even notice they were there. It gives a little bit of a privacy. The other 2 over there, the fire pits, are kind of close to each other, so I would say 21, at least from right here, is probably one of the most private ones. Overall, the campground was very quiet. We walked down, went to the bathroom last night, and it was quiet. Now my son's gonna tell you his favorite part of this campground before we head home.
My favorite part about Field Trip Travelers Rest Campground was the cold plunge, and I thought that was super cool because it felt like you were just sitting in ice. Another fun part about this place is that if you have kids, they have a bunch of really fun activities that you can do. They have like a little dome that you can climb. They have slingshots. I thought the campsite was really cool because they put everything that you would need for s'mores into bags. They also had fridges with all the drinks that you could need inside. They also have poker sticks, like hot dog sticks and s'more sticks that you could use if you forgot. The one that we rented had a wood-fired hot tub. We also thought that was really cool. They're just big enough for a bed, 2 stands, and a place for your coffee and blankets. So that was really fun. They also have a campfire over there, so that's really fun all the time. Everybody here was also really nice, and I think overall had a great time. Bye.
Thank you for watching on another one of our new camping trips. We've never been glamping, so maybe this is something we'll do more of. I don't know. I really like the fact that we had air conditioning because it's supposed to be in the 90s this week, so that was awesome last night. But because it's in the shade, and if you had a fan, it wouldn't be awful anyways, but that's just me talking as a tent camper who's used to camping in the summer when it's hot. Having all that was awesome.